Good morning. Welcome to Buck Don't Know Shit. It is like the third or fourth beautiful day in a row here in Texas. Yeah, it's just a beautiful day. It's January 2nd, 2025, new year. And we are, what are we gonna do today? So y'all been watching, trying to get this engine running, and it'll run as long as I pour gas in it. And we pretty much determined that the fuel pump is not pumping. So got a new one coming, but it's not gonna be until tomorrow. But I do think today I will go ahead and get it off and get ready to put the new one on. I'm also going to take the distributor back out and try to get it jumped over, reset basically a little more counterclockwise, because you can see my vacuum advanced cylinder is all the way up against the overflow tank. So I don't have any more adjustment, and I do feel like I need a little. It's hard to tell until you get it like running. You don't know if it's sputtering a little because it's out of gas or timing's off a little, but I think that's close, but I can't adjust it anymore the other way. So I want to get it jumped a tooth or a couple teeth or whatever and get this cylinder back facing forward the way it was before. So, and I'll get my new fuel pump tomorrow, get that on, and then we'll jump back on seeing if we can get this thing to actually run and stay running. Carly's coming out today. I made her promise she's gonna get this insulation sound deadening project done today. I got a couple of wires I still got to get under here, hook up. I've got some things over there I need to get finished wrapped up. I've got the wiring harness connection where it goes through the firewall, where I've just kind of got it, you know, Buck Don't Know style right now. So these guys here, where I couldn't get my connectors I had used to connect, like they wouldn't shove together, so I just have those pulled out of their housings and held together for right now. And so we got to do something with that. I got to figure out where to get a good plug that works. All right, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and leave some comments. Give me some help on this electrical. I may have this fixed by the time y'all watch this video. I probably will, but still, any advice or place y'all use to buy these types of things, give me a heads up, because I'm having trouble finding good connectors that go through like a firewall or something like that. The Deutsch connectors are good, but I'm having trouble finding the heavy gauge wires. You know, it's basically like I'd have to use two different connectors, one for the heavy gauge stuff and one for the light gauge stuff, which that's doable, but that's just more holes in the firewall and more stuff I got to patch back up and fix. And now I've got a dash in there, and I really don't want to do that, but anyway. All right, it is not easy to get to that fuel pump. It is possible. I mean, I can feel around in there and get a ratchet to it, and it's 2 bolts. I did get the fuel line coming in detached and the line going to the carburetor unscrewed. Long story short, I don't have anything fluid-wise in this. I've got a leak on my power steering pump that I need to, just this hose, I think it's that hose, use the old clamp. I need to get it off, fix that anyway. So I think I'm about to pull this, pull that bracket that the power steering pump is on, and just get all that stuff out of the way. That way when I get my new fuel pump, I'll have access to it, and I can hook everything up, get the car running. I don't have these 2 belts on anyway right now, so yeah, might as well pull it. Carly's finally finishing her project. Good job. I think we'll get the seat. We might start rebuilding one of these seats.
What about the rest of the electrical work?
Yeah, I gotta get that wiring harness drug out and plugged up. I may do that today, actually. Yeah, because then we can start putting the center console in and carpet, shit like that. So, kind of want to make sure it's running before I start on the carpet and everything. All right, Carly got it done, finally. Took a few days, but she did get out here and finish that project and got, I actually have to work on this one. Some places, these have like a coating on them, like a rubber, I don't know what this texture stuff is, but it does kind of peel off. It's not painted. But underneath this one, it had some bubble rust, and you can see when I ground it down, it, you know, the metal had deteriorated some. There's a spot there. So I am going to go over this with some Bondo, sand it, paint it. I believe this edge might be hidden. I don't, it's probably close. I think some trim goes over that. The rest of the piece looks pretty good other than here. I don't know why they had these 4 holes drilled. I will figure it out when I start putting this back together. They probably had something aftermarket bolted to it at some point. And she's got the rest of these trim pieces. This is mostly the stuff for the dash and kind of underneath the dash. So we will be going back together with that pretty soon. So just wanted to get them out, get them cleaned up. Just a few less things in the garage. Okay, buttoning up this sliding mechanism here, and I've got it working. Everything's hooked up, tightened up, and put it in reverse or neutral. It locks, put it back in park. Which I gotta work on that, apparently. There it is. All right, and it slides again. Couple things, well, one thing I'll show you, just so you don't fight what I fought the whole time, but that little guy there, that adjusts. So when you have it in park, it lifts this lever up to where it'll go above the steering column, right? And then when you put it in reverse, or take it out of park, it drops that lever down, right? And then the thing about it is though, so I went ahead and I like pushed it up as far as it would go, but there is a too high for it too. Because if you get it too high, there's something else in there that will hit on the steering column that won't allow it to slide over. So you got to get it adjusted just right, and it is fairly tight. Another thing I'd recommend is when you have this steering column out, work that screw, clean it up, make sure it's functioning. You want to get it to where you can adjust it by hand fairly easily, and then set that locking nut on it. So
the next day.
All right, welcome to Buck Don't Know Shit. It is the day that we are going to get this damn car running. Get the engine running. Anyway, now we have a fuel pump. That picture does not represent what's in the box, but it's a Delphi. Just whatever they had at Napa. I think they had the same one at O'Reilly's, you know, same one on Rock Auto. Pretty much same part. So just, that's what I got. So I'm gonna get that in the car. I am going to leave a lot of this stuff off. I'm just gonna kind of bolt my coil back up to this bracket for now. I did reset my distributor yesterday, kind of jumped it over a tooth, I guess, or maybe a couple teeth, I don't know. But this does look more like it was prior. So I think I will have more adjustment with my timing now, left and right. All right, y'all, the battery is hooked up, the fuel pump's hooked up, I got my coil on, got my wires hooked up. So everything's hooked up. See my new fuel pump there? It is ready to go. Accessible if we need to get to it for some reason. filled the float bowls, I believe, and put a little gas in it. And basically, I think this thing's ready to crank. My distributor is in a different spot, so I'm thinking I will have to probably adjust it. We'll know here in a second though. Oh, turn my key on. Yeah, I already see some fires down here, so that's telling me, and I don't have my damn block of wood under my control arm. I'm gonna have to adjust that distributor. Let me play with it a little bit. Yeah, I think I had it a little too far advanced. So we'll try this now, see what happens. I got a fuel leak. I better quit to get that fixed. So, yay, fuel leak. I guess just to show you, so you see the brass fitting. For whatever reason, this pump, the threading in the housing doesn't fit the 3/16 or what's that? That's 5/16 fuel line fitting, and which was a flared end, double end flared fitting, and it did not leak. Of course, I didn't have. Of course, that is true. I wasn't getting fluid to it, so I don't know for sure that it wasn't leaking on the other pump, but don't think it was leaking. Now that is an old fitting that I borrowed from the old line, if y'all remember. But regardless, that brass fitting came with this one. It doesn't seem to be leaking at it, but I will go ahead and back it out, get them both out, and yeah, try to come up with something else here. This is, let's see if I can demonstrate for you. Let me pull this distributor cap. But you can see it pretty good little leak right there. But like I said, good news is the pump's working. So now we just got to fix a leak. Okay, so the old pump, it did have a fitting on it, so I guess it is the same. But in there, to me, it looks like there was more room around that nipple for the flare end to sit around than there is on this one. And you know, these things aren't under a lot of pressure, or the fuel pump is not 5 to 7 psi, I believe. So I mean, it's basically not making a seal at all, because I had it very tight in there. And I checked this, and some of the threads are galled, but you know, the threads aren't where it seals down here. So, and I mean, my double end looks, there's no defects on it. It is just thick. Yeah, and there's the problem, I think, right there. They are different sizes. So this one must be for, let's say it's either 1/4 inch or 3/16. I'm thinking 1/4 inch. But you can see the noticeable size difference. So but the good news is these threads are the same. So I am going to thread this one in there and put this thing back on, and that might save me a lot of work and a trip to town. Well, let's see if it leaks. Got my distributor unplugged still. We definitely had seen it leaking up before, you know, very immediately. So I don't see any leaks, so I think we're good now. Okay, let's try this again. Not gonna squirt any more gas in it. I do think the pump is working, so I'm always, every time I start it, I'm like scared that something's gonna, like I'm gonna die. I don't think that'll happen, but anyway, let's go. Way more up again. Every fucking time. All right, here we go.
One eternity later.
I don't want to run. Key turned all the way. Maybe. I don't know if that matters with this, but might. Pressure gauge is not reading. Okay, well I've got a analog pressure gauge, which I mean that the other one, it's a sending unit, so it's sending, I guess, some kind of electric signal. I mean, basically it could not be getting to the gauge, which is very possible and likely because I never did test the voltage regulator that I replaced. I kind of already had anyway. Long story. Didn't do it, and if I had my suspicions, I would think that's probably where the problem is coming from. So, yeah, I think I've got the key on. I think I'm gonna crank it. Look at the oil pressure real quick. I think it had pressure because when I cracked that off, oil poured out of the filter pretty good. Let's see what we got there. There's a good. So that is good news that I do have oil pressure. 55 PSI, that is what the book said it should be. I saw that in there just the other day. I don't know what I was reading. Yep, so good. We've got 55 PSI oil pressure. Good that we have oil pressure. Not good that we don't know why our oil sending unit is not working. And I didn't ever. I have a new one. So I think that'll be the first thing I do is change it with the new one and go from there, I think. Am I getting oil pressure? It's moving. Oil pressure works now. Temperature has not moved. My amps work. Fuel gauge is not working. That's troublesome. Oil gauge works. Sweet. So that's good news. That tells me one, my voltage regulator is working. Tells me now I got oil pressure for sure. I mean, I had the analog gauge on it, so that's as good as it gets. I think you know for sure that's working. Fuel and temperature, it could just be that it's not warm yet. That is definitely possible. I do have a new temperature sending unit in there. Yeah, fuel sending unit. I don't like that that's not working. So fuck. Yeah, I'm not, no wires from there to there. Yeah, duh, okay. So we may be good, and that is a project I'm gonna work on. That makes me very, very happy, actually. Whew, man. You ever don't know why something started working? I mean, I changed the sending unit out, right? But the old one was working. I did go look at that video, and it was sending a signal and activating the gauge when I put pressure on it and took pressure off of it. So it did work. You know, these are just some of them things, these old parts. It seems like when you, like the fuel pump, it was working also. It seems like for some reason when they set up, sometimes they just stop working. I guess there's rubber components, diaphragms probably dry out, and yeah, that's my theory anyway. Could have been a bad ground, could have been something else. I'm gonna keep it because, like I said, it did work. So I'm gonna keep it on standby. I don't know. Just throw it in there. Yeah, this is, oh man, that is so wonderful. So wonderful. Cranking with the key.